Tessa Blanchard was back in the news this week. It was 2 years ago, on the eve of her becoming the first woman ever to win the Impact World Championship, that multiple female wrestlers went public with allegations of bullying and racism against her. There were alleged attitude issues that had plagued her career dating back to her independent days. Impact fired her. Months later, before her contract was about to expire, they terminated her and stripped her of the title, and there were issues there as well, and accusations that she was asked to do certain things and send in promo. This was during the beginning of the pandemic era where, everything was closed and shut down, but they wanted her to send in promos and do certain things, and she wouldn't even do that. And so anyway, there were issues there, and they terminated her, and they stripped her of the championship. And she has done absolutely nothing of note since then. For someone who had the world by the balls at the time and should have been courting offers from all the major companies, the biggest companies in the world, it's very telling that WWE and AEW have wanted nothing to do with her. That's how toxic she is right now. Instead, last October, WOW, Women of Wrestling, announced a major syndication deal with Viacom CBS for their programming, of which Tessa was part. Tessa was wrestling for WOW. They got AJ Lee, right? April Mendez. They brought her in to be the face of the promotion. Tessa was going to be the top star. They were going to build everything around Tessa Blanchard. Episodes aren't scheduled to begin airing, I don't think, until the fall. It's going to be on local stations and markets around the country, not unlike the kind of deal Ring of Honor had when their show was airing on all the local Sinclair stations. So you may be able to watch it in your city, or you may not. It depends on what clearances it gets. But this would have been the biggest platform to date for Tessa Blanchard. I say would have, because it appears she may already be on the outs with them. Per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WOW talent have claimed to Fightful that Tessa recently had a falling out with the company, and her status is uncertain. WOW just had 3 days of TV tapings this week at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, and per the website SoCal Uncensored, Tessa was not present at the Thursday tapings. I have not seen anything reported about the Friday or the Saturday tapings. It's possible she was there, but it doesn't appear that way. One source alleged to Fightful that Tessa cut a promo on wrestler Samantha Sage, who goes by the name Americana, in a class last month that saw Blanchard tear her apart, leading to many trainees speaking up. The acting classes were canceled from that point forward until further notice. One trainee was told that Blanchard would be less involved going forward, but that has not been confirmed by multiple sources. Another source indicated that Tessa is no longer in charge of training talent and that Selena Majors has been brought back to handle that role. And one former WOW star speculated that they believe Tessa is gone from the company. But again, that has not yet been confirmed. Tessa has not said anything. David McLean and the people at WOW haven't commented on this. It was teased that information regarding a major shift in plans for the promotion would be out in the coming days. So it seems like she may have cost herself another opportunity. And if so, that could be the final nail in her coffin when it comes to seeing this woman back working on U.S. television. When you treat people a certain way, eventually it's going to bite you on the ass. There are still people who believe that it's all just one big conspiracy against this woman. It's like the Bill Cosby thing. I just shake my head at how naive people can be. One accusation is one thing. But when you have all of these people coming out of the woodwork with stories of their own and details about things that these people have done or said, oh, no, it's a conspiracy. They're all getting together and they're putting this together, man. It's just one big conspiracy against this person for reasons that are unexplained. I guess in their mind, maybe they think that they're just jealous of her and they all decided to come together and attack this woman. I mean, multiple accusations from multiple people in the industry of which you are part indicates a pattern of behavior. The wrestler who was alleged to have been spat on by Tessa and called the N-word, her name is La Rosa Negra, is on record as saying that Tessa did do those things. It happened at a show in Japan and she forgives her for it. She's clearly not Tessa's biggest fan, if you go back and listen to or read the transcripts of some of those interviews, but she did say she forgives her for it. But to this day, Tessa denies that it ever happened. She doesn't ever apologize for it because it never happened. She denies that the entire thing even happened. You know, she's got the talent, third generation star with a wrestling pedigree, famous wrestling name. Only 26 years old. You look at the top women in WWE right now. Charlotte Flair is 36. Ronda Rousey is 35. Becky Lynch is 35. In AEW, Thunder Rosa is 35. Bianca Belair is 33. Britt Baker is 31. This woman is only 26. And WWE won't touch her. AEW won't touch her. Her own father works for Tony Khan, and they haven't hired her. She's wrestled exactly one match in the last 2 years. You know, I once said that she and Charlotte would headline a WrestleMania one day, the Daughters of the Horsewomen. It writes itself. And I thought one day in the next few years, probably within the next 4 or 5 years, when I said this, there would be a WrestleMania or one night of WrestleMania. This is before the 2-night WrestleMania started. We would see Charlotte Flair in a main event against Tessa Blanchard. I believe that to be true. But then she went and torpedoed her career through no one's fault but her own. If you make enough enemies and you give people a reason to not want to work with you and develop a reputation for being difficult to work with, and clearly she has built up a reputation, this is what ends up happening. Maybe AAA will take her back. She should start brushing up on her Spanish. Big E provided an update on his health on Twitter, and it's not great. He tweeted, "For those desirous of an update, my C1 apparently isn't healing optimally. I'll spend another 4 to 6 weeks in a brace in hopes that I can avoid a fusion. But don't you fret, I've got a tremendous support system, and what shall be, shall be." We should all aspire to be as positive as Big E is. You know, when Ridge Holland suplexed him on his head, Big E fractured his C1 vertebrae and his C6 vertebrae. The C1 being the more perilous of the two because, as he himself tweeted after the accident, he had his first doctor's appointment, and he came online and said, "Boy, I got some sobering news today. I was told that I narrowly escaped a stroke, paralysis, or death." And he said that really puts things in perspective. That's the one that's most commonly associated with instant death or paralysis is a C1 fracture. He's lucky to have had that thick neck that he has. I'm sure that protected it. I'm sure that saved his life. You know, Dr. David Cho is a former WWE doctor, and I read an article a couple of months ago after the accident happened. He went online and wrote an article about Big E's injury, where he said that oftentimes the C1 fracture is one that, you know, it doesn't heal completely or it doesn't heal properly, and it could spell the end of his wrestling career. So hearing Big E admit that now he's being told his C1 isn't healing optimally, whatever that means, and that he may still need a spinal fusion surgery, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence about him getting back in the ring. But as somebody who was scared to death when I saw him land on his head, I just want to see him heal up and live a normal life without being in any kind of pain. I would love to see him back in the ring so he can finish his career the way that he wants to and not be forced out due to injury. But to me, his wrestling career is secondary to all those other things. You know, there are plenty of other things that he could do in wrestling and outside of wrestling. But even in wrestling, if he can't get cleared to wrestle again. So, you know, he's charismatic and he can talk and he's just a fun guy. I hate seeing bad things happen to good people. I hope he can come back. But it's possible we have seen the last of the New Day in the ring as a trio. I just hope he can avoid surgery.